So you might be asking, why in the world is she taking a citrus fruit and putting it on top of her meat? Well, I'm doing it for two reasons. Not only is it going to give it a different type of flavor than what you're probably used to, it's going to keep your meat nice and moist in a different way. So give it a try. I guarantee you'll like it. Okay, so as you can see here, our meatballs have come to a boil in our sauce. All of them are pretty much submerged in that sauce now. So we want to turn the burner down to a low simmer, and just until that boiling kind of slows down, keep the lid off, and then once it tames itself down, you can add the lid back on. So the meatballs are pretty much done at this point. They're just going to slow cook on a low simmer. I blended all of our seasoning and that squeezed citrus orange into this hamburger mixture. So we're just going to finish cooking this off, and we are going to take a look here at our sweet potatoes. Now I set a timer for 25 minutes, and right now we have about 13 minutes left. So I just want to check the tenderness of these sweet potatoes. Okay, so our sweet potatoes are fork tender. They did not break the potato. We're going to drain out this water, and we are going to get them in a large pot. Okay, so our hamburger is done. We're going to turn off the burner on that. And our meatballs are done also. We are going to move both of them over to hot pads and get them out of our way and off the stove top so we can move on to the sweet potatoes. Okay, so here are our sweet potatoes, fork tender but not breakable. They took about 15 minutes in our boiling water. So now we are going to use the same ingredients that we did for our carrot glaze, which is the brown sugar and our cinnamon. So we want to take a cup of brown sugar this time and get that into our sauce pot. Get that into our sauce pot. And that is a cup for the 4 sweet potatoes that we are going to put in here as well. Now we're going to add just a little drizzle of water to get our sauce going. And again, we're just going to mix that around. We want our sauce to be of a thicker consistency. As I said earlier on in this video, you can thicken it by adding more brown sugar if you end up putting too much water in it. As it stays in the pan, I had said that it actually will thicken. It will not thicken in the pan unless you add more brown sugar. If it becomes too watery, you have to add brown sugar in order to thicken it, because the heat will just thin it out. So I just want to correct that, that earlier on what I had stated. So there is our sauce for the sweet potatoes. We're just going to add them right in. And we're going to take a spatula then to gently stir the sauce around on them. We're going to put the lid back on. We're going to cook them for another 10 minutes or so, and I will show you what they look like. So I just took my spatula to the sweet potatoes and evenly distributed the sauce around them before I put the lid on. We need to add our cinnamon here yet, like we did our carrots, so just a little sprinkle of cinnamon. Now you can use any other seasoning that you want as well. You can use nutmeg on these sweet potatoes. You can use maple syrup to flavor these sweet potatoes. You can really just pick and choose what it is that you would like to taste on them. Some people are not a fan of nutmeg. Some people, you know, just like the brown sugar and the cinnamon. You can make these however your taste buds desire. So just keep that in mind. You can change it up from week to week. You can, you know, leave it the same, whatever your preference is. So we are going to put the lid on these and let them go for 10 minutes just to soften up a bit more. Moving right along to our last protein source, our sweet Italian sausage. I have this bag cut open here. I am going to take our olive oil and season our pan, or spray our pan, excuse me, with the olive oil. We're going to transfer, I'm just going to pick them up. transfer the sausages right into the pan. And we're gonna get those going. Okay, so we have our 4 sausages in the pan here. I took the rest of that whole onion. Remember, we only used about, 3/4 of that onion. So I took the remaining 1/4 and I added that to our sausage here. We are going to take some Italian seasoning and we're going to add that to the sausage, as well as some garlic powder. All right, so we got our seasoning on top of the sausages there. And I just put a little bit of water in the pan to get it to simmer a bit. So you can see the one side of the sausage is already browned. We are going to brown the other side, and in total we're going to cook these sausages for approximately 14 minutes. You just want to make sure that they're cooked all the way through and not roll in the center. Our sweet potatoes are done. They are nice and tender, so we are shutting the burner off on this, and those are done. So move them to the back to cool down a bit before we put them in the meal prepping containers. Alrighty, so here's our sausage. As you can see, I cut them in half. The reason that I cut them in half is because I don't need to eat a full sausage. My husband, he's a bigger guy than I am. He can eat a whole sausage link. I personally do not need to. So I will mix these up. I will put, one full one in some meal prep containers, and I'll just put one half of a whole in the meal prep containers for myself. So we're just going to go ahead and we're going to begin to meal prep these. And as I said, I'm just going to distribute them differently. So there we go. We have those. Now, what can we do? We have our meatballs finished up here. We have our hamburger finished up, our sweet potatoes, and I pulled out some spinach. So let's just take a handful of spinach here. And that meal is done. We have sausage and some spinach. We can take our sweet potatoes and put that in there like that. Sweet potatoes with sausage. Let's move on to our hamburger. Taking our hamburger mixture and pairing the hamburger with some fresh spinach. Now, what do we do with that when we go to eat it? When we're, at work or we're at home and we're pulling out our lunch? We can drizzle some balsamic on this. We can eat it just as it is and mix the hamburger with the spinach. You can pick and choose what it is that you'd like to do. But I'm going to wrap up these meals here and I will check back in with you guys at the end. And there it is, guys. There's our different meals. Hamburger, spinach, sweet potatoes, sausage and sweet potatoes, hamburger and just spinach, our veal and sweet potatoes, chicken breast and sweet potatoes with peas. We made over 20 meals this time. Just wanted to share with you guys once again the different varieties of protein, carbs, and vegetables that you can put into these meal preps. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. Don't forget to like and subscribe Mommy Daddy Fitness. We could use your support and we greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to also leave me any feedback. I try and do my best for you guys, but I'm not always the best with the camera and holding that at the same time. So if you have any tips or tricks that you could share with me to make it visually better and easier for you, I would appreciate that as well. I hope you guys have an awesome rest of your week, and I will check back in with you at another time. Meal Preppin' Mom. See you later, guys.